Yo. 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 What is the deal, everybody? What is the deal? Welcome to another Raider Nation Unlimited. I'm your man, Wasted Talent. Shout out to the chat. Yes, I am doing a show and simultaneously watching the New York Knicks. Get wasted with your brother, Wasted. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Share this thing out to all social media, everybody. All social media. What is the deal, y'all? Yo, shout out to Latina Griffin, Raider Ryder, Dan T, to Lawrence E. Rorschach Raider, Sacktown Mike. Oh, my God, man. My guy, Tisa. Wasted moved it back to 4:35 and 42 seconds. Listen, man. Listen, I had to go get mine today, man. Thank you, sweetheart. Appreciate it, baby. Thank you. Yo, my youngest daughter just hooked her daddy up with coffee. We were in the gym together. You know what I mean? Get wasted with your brother, wasted, tell a friend to tell a friend. So there's a lot going on, guys. Right? We got 127 in the room, so it's time to cook. Share this thing out. Share this thing out. Now, guys, look. Rookie mini camp's over. There were some transactions that were made that we're going to get into. I would like to kind of address a few things about this roster and the way this team is getting built. You know what I mean? And then we're gonna handle some of y'all questions, right? It's funny, right? Because like I saw somebody that was in my comments, right? And I normally don't respond to bullshit, right? Because we have a great how can I say this? We have a great community here. We have a great community here. There are certain things that we do here that others don't do. This is a community that a lot of people would man, they give their right arm for the community that we have here at Raider Nation Unlimited, over at Oak Las Vegas, over at Hammer's house, over at Big Mike Raider, over at Andy's Raider Football Talk. We have a tremendous audience, right? But this audience is one where, for me, I have to address the people in my chat, bro. I had a guy that said that we don't talk ball over here. All I do is talk to the people in my chat. And guess what? Guess what? You goddamn right I talk to the people in my chat. I respect the people in my chat. I appreciate the people in my chat. And not for nothing, if that's not what you want to hear, then you can press on, buddy. The F up out of here. Salute, man. So, guys. Oh, my God. Man, I had to get that going. So, look, the Raiders today started things off right. The Raiders cut 6 and they signed 6, right? So, the Raiders cut the following players, right? The Raiders cut and waived offensive tackle Dominic Boyd. Number 2, linebacker Amari Burney, who's been with the team, was drafted out of the University of Florida. I was high on Amari Burney initially coming out. You know, I knew he was going to make the team last year. I would have liked to see, you know, Amari stick around because he has some talent, man. I think he's going to land somewhere else in the National Football League, have a pretty decent career. Matthew Butler, who has been around for a month of Sundays here, man. Matthew Butler has been around for a few years, man. And, you know, he's one of the last holdovers from the David Ziegler era. 15 career games. 1 game started. So, you know, happy trails to our very own Matthew Butler, right? And not for nothing, man. Tyreik McAllister, man. This is a guy that I thought, you know, might be a kick returner for us, man. He was not able to hang on. Linebacker Brandon Smith. And additionally, the Raiders released Kristian Wilkerson. We kind of knew that was coming, man. Kind of knew that was coming. Now, Brandon Smith, man, 29 years old, was a second-round pick by the Dallas Cowboys out of Notre Dame. He's a Notre Dame guy. You guys know I love the Fighting Irish. In 2016, He signed a 4-year, $6 million rookie contract. And Smith was heading into his 4th season. He signed a 5-year deal for $64 million with the Cowboys, and the Cowboys made the decision to release him in 2021. And he had signed that contract with the Dallas Cowboys in 2019, and he signed on with the Packers. Green Bay cut Smith after about a month. He caught on with the Giants on their practice squad, and he had stints with us, the Saints, and the Steelers. For his career, Smith appeared in 88 games. He had 69 starts over the course of 7 years. He totaled 626 tackles, 11 sacks, 6 forced fumbles, 6 fumble recoveries, 2 interceptions, a defensive touchdown, and 21 pass defense. Now, the thing with Smith, man, is that this is a guy, man, you know, and this I'm talking about Jaylon Smith, not Brandon Smith. You know, Jaylon Smith is a guy, man, that a lot of people, and you know, I forgot to tell you guys, Jaylon Smith was signed by us. Jaylon Smith is a guy coming out of Notre Dame, man, that, you know, a lot of people had high hopes for. He was supposed to be a stud, a star. And look, man, you know, it didn't quite work out for him. It didn't quite. And I'm not talking about Brandon Smith. I switched. I got my notes all mixed up. But I switched to Jaylon Smith, right? But Jaylon Smith is a guy, man, that when he was coming out of Notre Dame before he got hurt in that bowl game, man, I thought he was going to be the second coming of one of the next great linebackers. And I'm going to be honest with you. You know, he's a guy that I'm rooting for. But, you know, Jaylon Smith landing with the Raiders at this point in his career, and the Raiders kicking the tires on him and bringing in a lot of veteran linebackers, it goes to show you 2 things, right? It goes to show you, one, that Pete Carroll values the linebacker position in a different way than I think that Patrick Graham did, right? And I think that they're trying to figure out how to bridge the gap between some of the young talent they have on this team and try to meld that with guys that are proven guys. Now, Spytek, he has his guy, right? Devin White is a Spytek guy. You know, there's clear connections to Tampa Bay. There's clear connections to John Spytek being around from when they drafted Devin White, right? Jaylon Smith is a guy that I'm kind of wondering who is the person who really wanted to bring him in and keep him in camp. I'm wondering, is it Patrick Graham? Because Patrick Graham has had, you know, some experience with him. Or is this a Pete Carroll guy? Is this the signing of and keeping around of Smith, is that more of a glue guy kind of thing? Is that more of a culture kind of thing? Is that more of a guy that, you know, having all these young guys like Amari Gainer and guys like that on the roster, Tommy Eichenberg, right? Is that to kind of keep him around to show these guys how to play the game, how to be a linebacker? Or does he have a real shot at making his football team? Yes. Does he have a shot at making his football team? Guys, listen, I'm going to be honest with you. Graphic Raider is in here to throw my show off. He is about to be unceremoniously blocked. Get this effing bum out of here with his crap. My guy Hug D's. What's up, brother? Wasted hugs and stuff. You crotchety old bastard. Thank you, Hug D's. Thank you, man. Hug D's, man. You look like a stewed prune now. You lost all that damn weight. You gotta stop drawing on yourself with all them damn tattoos, man. Oh yeah, no, Martinez. Yeah, not Kristian Wilkerson. Graph, get the F up out of here. Just your presence just annoys me right now. Effing graphic hater. He's just saying, nah, that's my dog, man. Shout out to Grab, yo. But, and listen, Anthony's not in here right now, but as soon as he comes in, he is going to be blocked. Yeah, but no. Listen, I mean, so when you look at this linebacker room, let me get back focused here. When you look at this linebacker room, I kind of wonder, right? I wonder if they have faith in some of these young guys. I'm wondering, and I'm also wondering how many of these guys they're going to keep around. Now, Patrick Graham, and this is the reason why I think this is a Pete Carroll move, right? Patrick Graham was really big on carrying a lot of defensive backs. I don't think the Raiders are going to carry as many DBs as they had in the past. Because if you look at what's been going on with the Raiders over the last few years, it is a lack of linebacker play. It's the lack of linebacker play. If you look at the middle of the field, or you look at the way the Raiders have gotten run on in the middle of the field, passed on, it is a lack of linebacker play, man. Get wasted with your brother wasted. Now, look, guys, there's also, and getting back to some of the guys that were released, right? And some of the guys that we've signed. Now, this is the best scenario when you talk about a new regime taking over here, right? The Raiders have come in here, the new regime, the John Spyteks, the Pete Carrolls, they didn't just come in with a broad brush and just sweep people out of the building. They got a taste of exactly what kind of players these guys were. They got a good look at these guys. And they decided, man, that they wanted out of the Amari Burney business. They decided they wanted out of the Matthew Butler business. They decided they want out of the Tyreik McAllister business. And bro, to be honest with you, I love the way they are going about everything. Now, with the corresponding moves to the 6 guys that they got off of the roster, they signed Jahfari Harvey, wide receiver, Ketron Jackson Jr. We spoke about Jaylon Smith, Kristian Smith, wide receiver they brought in, Wesley Steiner, and Jonathan Sutherland, safety. So, listen, man, I think that one thing that I can see from this organization, man, that Pete Carroll, John Spytek, all of these guys, that they have brought in, all of the guys that they waived, released, either way, right? It shows you that Carroll and Spytek have their idea of what a Raider looks like. They have their idea of what kind of players they want on this roster. And I'm very, very excited about that, man. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Get wasted with your brother wasted, man. Hey, Graph, get the F. See what I'm talking about. Yo, somebody do me a favor. Rorschach, block Graphic Raider. Get him the F up out of here. Block, released, cut, whatever. Douchebag. I will not read another Graphic Raider freaking comment for the rest of the week. Effing bum. The F up out of here, man. So, you know what? Before we jump into that, I don't want to kind of glaze over this, right? So to speak. You know, what I want to do is that I want to talk about some of these guys that we brought in, and do they have a real shot at making this roster? Do they have a real shot at making this roster, man? It remains to be seen, right? You know, like guys like Ketron Jackson, right? Does he have a real shot at making his team? I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. Most of these guys are guys that are camp bodies. You know, I'll be very, very surprised if any of these guys make the roster, man. You know, the one thing about Jackson is, you know, he's a kid out of Baylor. You know, Baylor, most of their wide receivers and their guys down there are pretty damn fast. You know what I mean? Guys that, you know, have a lot of physical ability, but, you know, probably weren't able to kind of bring it all together. Now, Jackson Jr. is 6'2", 203-pound wide receiver, man. Big boy, man. Big boy. You know, some people say he's 6'2", others say he's 6'3", man. He began his collegiate career at Arkansas before transferring to Baylor his final 2 seasons. And he logged 40 receptions, 725 yards, 3 touchdowns, averaging roughly 18 yards per reception. And this kind of plays into some of what the Raiders are doing, man. I love that Pete Carroll is making this a big, strong, fast, and physical football team. That's a great body to have in camp, man. Great body. Great body to have in camp, man. I love how the wide receiver room, and when you look at what happened last time, you look at the last regime, and you look at, you know, Josh McDaniels and what they did when they were building this team, David Ziegler, they didn't really focus on bringing physical attributes. They were looking more of an archetype, a player kind of type, a brain type of player. It didn't really matter. It was a hodgepodge of players, man. a hodgepodge of players. They didn't really have what a Raider looks like. The one thing growing up and watching the way Al Davis built his teams, Al Davis had an archetype for what kind of player he wanted to be a Raider. Big, strong, fast football players. And then everything else kind of fell into place. And I think that's the way you build a football team, man. Yeah, and Tisa, you're absolutely right, man. Said doesn't look good for Trey Tucker. Now, the one thing about Trey Tucker is, man, listen, if he's nothing else, he is a fast football player, right? But I think, listen, the Raiders are bringing in a lot of linebackers. They're bringing in a lot of wide receivers. And if I'm being honest, and then, you know, the running back room, you can pretty much see exactly the positions of need and what they're trying to address on this team, man. You could see it clear as day. Number one pick's a running back, right? You know that running back room. They go out in free agency. They go bring in Raheem Mostert. That showed you right there their intentions for this team. You know, the wide receiver room is something that they felt they needed to address. And I think that Jakobi Meyers is probably not long for the Raiders based off of some of the moves that they've made. I think that, you know, Jack Bech is a guy that is probably going to be the heir apparent to Jakobi Meyers. I think he's going to play a lot as a rookie, and I think before the end of the season, you're going to see both of those guys on the field together a lot of times. And I think, you know, being that Myers is in the last year of his contract, I think the Raiders might not go back around the dance floor with him. Oh, my God. Wasted. My mom went into the hospital on Mother's Day with congestive heart failure. Could I get some prayers and good vibes? Brother, you can get that times 20, brother. Everybody send a prayer hands up for my guy, Harry from Michigan, man, and his mom. God bless, man. I hope that, you know, they can do something that's not super invasive to get her back rocking, man. That's crazy, man, on Mother's Day, too. Like, you know, it's funny, man. Like, my father actually, one of the ailments that he passed away from, because he was sick, he had some issues. He passed away. One of the big ailments was congestive heart failure. And it's something that runs in my family. It's one of the reasons why, you know, for me, I'm very, very serious about like not drinking, not smoking, and trying to keep my weight under control and eating properly, because, you know, congestive heart failure is definitely a humongous issue in the African-American community. And it's a big issue with women nowadays as well. A lot of people, they never think that women have issues with congestive heart failure, man, but they do. So I want to give some heartfelt, not condolences, but because God, I hope she makes it through. But I want to give her my best, and I hope the chat gives her best, and I hope, you know, man, she could take those good vibes along with her. We're gonna send them prayers up, my brother. My man Marv Lewis, he said he got congestive heart failure too, man. It's bad for business, man. Bad for business. Bad for business, my guy. So getting into it, man, you know, listen. So the Raiders have addressed some needs, right? And look, I'm kind of looking at some of the guys on this team, man, that for me, you know what I mean, are going to play a vital role into what's going forward with this team, right? You know, Lonnie Johnson is a guy that has a chance to really, really carve himself out a nice little role. You know, the Raiders want to get things in the right direction, right? You know, they've drafted a young corner, you know, that kind of fit the archetype of what Pete Carroll wants to do, right? But one of those veterans that can kind of bring things around for the Raiders might be Lonnie Johnson, man. He's a shot. He has a shot to get things going, man. You know what I mean? And look, I'm going to be honest with you, man. Lonnie Johnson being back there, being kind of one of them tweeners, safety, kind of corner, that kind of a guy, man. This is the kind of guy that, you know, I love that they brought in, because if he does not make the roster and they wind up moving on from him, nobody's going to be, you know, going crazy. But what it'll show you is that some of these young guys have stepping up and taken the brass ring, so to speak. Hey, hey, Harry, you did not kill the vibe, brother. Listen, man, it's more important that your mom stays in the land of the living. It's more important that, you know, she gets those vibes. Look, energy cannot be created or destroyed. It just transmutes, my brother. And I'm going to be honest with you, bro. People don't think prayer works, but it does. It's never a problem for us to just take a few seconds out of our day, you know what I'm saying, and try to send some vibes out to somebody who needs it, man. No vibes killed at all, brother. No vibes killed at all. We got almost 400 in the room. Get wasted what your brother wasted, man. But guys, look, we gonna try to do is we're gonna try to get everybody's spirits up. That's what we do here, man. That's what we do here, man. But guys, let me get into this, man. Now, I've noticed a few things from camp, right? I've noticed a few things. I love the direction the team is going. We're gonna get into, you know, who signed their deals, right? Now, out of all of our draft picks, you know, Dante Thornton Jr. signed his 4-year deal. Jack Bech signed his 4-year contract with the Raiders. Tonka Hemingway has signed. Tommy Millott has signed too, man. Charles Grant has signed his 4-year contract. Genty signed his contract. Caleb Rogers signed his contract. So we got one holdout so far. Cody Lindenberg signed a 4-year contract. JJ Piggy signed a 4-year contract. Cam Miller signed a 4-year contract. So we got one draft pick that has not signed, man. Oh, wait a minute. Darien Porter signed his contract too. Hold on. All of our picks are signed. I'm tripping. I'm bugging. Darien Porter signed his contract. So the Raiders are ready to rock and roll. Our whole rookie class is signed. So basically, let me go and look over the cap, man, and see where we are cap-wise. You see where we are with all of our rookie class being signed right now. Let's check out cap space, man. Let's check these Raiders out. Hey guys, I'm gonna share my screen pretty soon too, right? All right, so as it sits right now, the Raiders have, sheesh, do they? No freaking way, man. Still? Wait a minute. Okay, the effective cap space the team will have after signing rookie class. Okay, so the Raiders, with their effective cap space after they sign their rookie class, the Raiders have $28.6 million in cap space. Their active cap spending is $233 million, and they have $44 million in dead money. I mean, damn, the Raiders rank at the top of the damn near at the top of the league with some dead money, man. Them and the Niners, man. The Raiders, Seahawks, the Jags, the Eagles, and the Saints, man, got a lot of freaking dead money, man. The Raiders got $44 million. That's going to be nice when that comes off of the books for next year. It's going to make them pretty viable next year in the free agent market, man. Can we afford Jaylon? Yeah, but if this is the thing, man, they can, but they can't, right? You know, you got to realize something. Just because you have cap space doesn't mean that they don't have deals that need to be done. You know what I mean? So if they sign Jalen Ramsey, that would effectively take them out of making any other move. You know, so I mean, can they sign Jalen Ramsey? Yeah, but to me, that's not the kind of move that a team like the Raiders, who are still building, want to make, because you have some young guys on this team who are coming up for deals. You know what I mean? And then if you look at, you know, Jalen Ramsey's deal, man, I mean, he signed a 3-year extension worth $72.1 million with the Dolphins in 2024, man. $29.2 million is guaranteed. It's going to be a lot for the Dolphins. Like, even if they get rid of Jalen Ramsey, bro, they're going to have a huge dead cap hit getting rid of this guy, man. If they got rid of him pre-June 1st, it'd be $32 million in dead money, man. Post-June 1st, it'd be $14 million. So, like, so that's a lot, man. I don't know, man. I don't know if it's worth it for the Raiders, man. I don't know. It's not like that's the kind of move that the Raiders want to make now, because it's not like we're just establishing something. Now, I don't know if that's the kind of move you want to make right now. To me, it doesn't seem like something that I would want to do, right? Not eating that contract and having a team like this that is, to be honest with you, just really kind of building the foundation of this program. I think next year might be the year that the Raiders, and it all depends on, you know, how these young players play this year, right? If a lot of these guys pan out, you know, if Brock Bowers continues to play the way that he's playing, if Jack Besh continues to, you know, he comes in here, he's as advertised, Ashton Genty is as advertised, we address some of the guys on the line, Max continues to be Max, you know, Malcolm Kuntz continues to be Malcolm Kuntz, you know, and guys can, like Kristian Wilkins is Kristian Wilkins. I think then you go and you spend big in free agency, because now you're cooking with gas at that point. Shout out to everybody in the chat, yo. Yo, my guy UA Mel is in a place to be, man. Oh my God, man. George Cartinez is in a place. Hug D says Waste's hairline looks like a kid's picture drawn with just one row across the top of his shiny nugget. Hug D's, listen, you got to stop talking filthy like that. This is a family show. You are about to get blocked. Yeah, and simple as that. It, to me, that's the way you build a program. You don't go out there spinning like a drunken sailor, bro. You don't go out there spinning like a. I don't think the Jalen Ramsey move. It's a move that, listen, man. I'm gonna be honest with you. He's a guy I've always wanted to be a Raider, but that's not the kind of move that you want to make now with the Raiders. I don't think the Raiders are ready for a big free agent move, and I think that's part of the problem with the way the Raiders have gone about their business over the last few years. We go out and we get free agents that we're not ready to kind of facilitate. We're not ready to really win. We don't know how ready we are to really win, right? You know, we got to see what we have in Geno. And my guy, Zohan, he goes, I'm struggling to have faith in Geno. Wait, I mean, tag Zohan. Listen, is Geno Smith Patrick Mahomes? No, he's not. Is Geno Smith, you know, Josh Allen? Is he Lamar Jackson? No, he's not. But what Geno Smith is he is a guy that is a starter, has been successful. You know, he can make every throw. He can make every throw. I think the Geno Smith's move is, I think it can be at a Jeff Hostetler level and even higher. And I think the way that this team is being built around Geno Smith, I think that at the very minimum, I think the team can be over 500 and really go to the playoffs and win a playoff game. I think what you're going to get is you're going to get a Chip Kelly that is motivated to prove his mettle, right? You're going to get a running back in Ashton Genty who is going to come into this league and be one of the better running backs in this league right off the bat. You know, and to be honest with you, we're going to break down really quickly what Chip Kelly normally does with his rushing offense. He is salivating to get a player like this, right? So the good thing about the Raiders is they've built a team. We don't have a situation where we're bringing a mid quarterback in and expecting him to carry the team. Listen, yo, Jeff Hostetler, Jason Campbell vibes, definitely. DeMarcus Webb, 100%, 100%. And the good thing about that is that this is a much better team than Jason Campbell ever had, man. Much better. Yeah, man. Y'all gotta chill, man. Y'all gotta chill, bro. Did somebody just freaking say I am not close to being a grandfather? Y'all gotta chill, man. Y'all gotta chill. I got teenage daughters, man. What the F is wrong with y'all? He said, whoa, pump the brakes. The Haas shall not be defiled. Now, Haas was my man, bro. But I'm just saying, look, Geno is giving me them vibes, bro. He's giving me them Haas, Jason Campbell vibes, bro. Telling and look, man, I'm gonna be honest with you, and I'm gonna say this right now. And this is the first time I've agreed with UA Mel in like 3 weeks. I think Geno is gonna be much better than Jason Campbell was for us. I think he is going to be much better. Grandpa vibes, you about to get blocked, Leaky T. The F is wrong with you? No, my daughters are not, man. You crazy, bro. I ain't having it, bro. But look, even if Geno Smith isn't Haas, even if he's not Jason Campbell, what you're going to get is you are definitely going to get a great rushing offense with Pete Carroll at the helm and Chip Kelly at the helm. Now you can see what the Raiders have done with their offensive line, with their blocking scheme, and how they've gone out and addressed the running game, right? So I wanted to go back to the year 2013, right? 2013 is a year that I want you guys to focus on, because in 2013, Chip Kelly took over for the Philadelphia Eagles. Pete Carroll was rolling with the Seattle Seahawks. And I want you guys to look at what went on in the year 2013. Now, right there from StatMuse, the year 2013, LaShawn McCoy led the National Football League with 1,684 rushing yards. And look at who was number 2. Marshawn Lynch, 1,545 rushing yards. He led the league in touchdowns. Shady McCoy led the league in rushing yards. And I think this right here is what the Raiders are going to try to go for. And I'm not saying Genty's going to lead the league in rushing, but what you're going to have is you're going to have a run-first football team. Totally believe it, man. Yo, my guy Hug D's with the $5 smackaroonie. Appreciate you for supporting the channel, my brother. It is weird that our starting QB was drafted the year before our retired QB, ex-QB. Geno was almost as gray as wasted. But you know the funny thing? Football is akin to boxing in many ways, right? Because you can be chronologically the same age or older than somebody, but how many ring miles do you have on you? How many ring miles do you have on you, right? Geno Smith was a backup, right? He was a starter. Then he was relegated to the bench for a long time, man. You know, DC is a guy that played like almost every snap that he was in this league. You know, so even though chronologically Geno Smith is older than DC, Geno Smith, just from a snap standpoint, is younger because of the fact that he was sitting on the bench, because of the fact that he wasn't playing a lot of them years. I love it, man. I love it. You know what I'm saying? And I'm going to tell you something right now, man. You know, the Geno move was ingenious, bro, because this is a guy that is a humble guy, right? He's a guy that has been a backup. He's a guy that I don't think has the kind of ego where he wouldn't mentor a young guy. So what you're kind of doing is you're leaving yourself open to be able to, in real time, have a competitive football team with a competitive quarterback and be able to go out and get a young guy and let Geno groom him. And just because you don't have the number 1 pick in the draft does not mean you can't go out there and draft the heir apparent to quarterback and still win at the same time. And guys, look, I want to say something real quick too, right? Now, look, I did my DC show the day that he retired, and cool. You know what I'm saying? And I almost regret it because the car wars have started open again in my comments, bro. It's like, dude, I damn near almost, I'm like, why did I do that? Like, bro, listen, man. I'm not going to go out here and disrespect, bro. Like, we talked about him. I gave him his flowers. Yo, I respect what DC laid down when he was a quarterback for the Raiders at times, right? We all know the story. We don't need to go back over it, right? But the thing that had made this thing such a problem over the years were people that were too far on both sides of the argument, bro. That's the problem with it. You know, like for me, yo, it wasn't like I hated the guy. I was a big fan of DC. I got like 3 Derek Carr jerseys. I was a huge fan of him before 2016. And even in 2017 and 18, I still have faith, right? But guess what? Once it became time to move on, it was time to move on, bro. And there was a lot of people in this organization, bro, that still act like he was somehow wrong. It's like, bro, you get what you deserve, bro. You get what you earn. You don't get just because you're a good guy and a nice guy and you played on a bad team, bro. It is what it is. It is what it is, man. And I want people to stop with that crap in my mentions. Like, keep that same energy, bro. It was no beef. It's no beef, bro. It's no beef. He gets respect. I wish him the best. But guess what? I was glad we moved on, and I still am. Still am. Now, you got people in my chat talking about he would beat Geno out. Like, get the F up out of here, man. My guy Hug D's, man. The $10 smackaroonie. Don't get me twisted. Geno's best year was under Carroll. There's real chemistry there. Now, add Chip Kelly's innovative offense. We got a horse in the race, y'all. And I'm hoping so, Hug. I'm hoping so. But I hope that the sum of the Raiders' parts is greater than what we're expecting out of Geno. I need somebody that can stand in that pocket and deliver the damn football. I need somebody that, when it's 3rd and 3, that's going to take off and run and slide and get us the first down. I don't necessarily need us to have Joe Montana back there. I mean, my God, man. Like, and bro, and this is the thing too. I just want Geno Smith to be Geno Smith. There were a lot of people that's saying, "Oh, Geno's going to be the next Rich Gannon." How about you just be the next the next Geno Smith? Just be that. Just be that. Like, for real, bro. I don't need all of that, man. My guy UA Mel, it's crazy. Before we got Geno, I ass wasted. Will he want Geno? He said no, and I agreed. Now look at this. This the thing, bro. You asked me best case scenario. Do I want to go trade for him and do it? No. I didn't want to trade any draft capital for him. If I'm being honest, I wanted them to draft Shedeur Sanders. That's what I wanted, right? But they didn't. So they got Geno. When they got Geno and we got Pete Carroll, it made sense, right? It makes sense. And I'm rooting for the guy. This is not the best case scenario, bro, for me, bro. But it's a real scenario. The one thing that I didn't want the Raiders to do was to go into another year with Aiden O'Connell under center and try to sell that to us. Sorry, but it was refreshing to see footage of Geno practicing and throwing ropes with accuracy. Got tired of watching lame ducks from AOC and Booger last year's camp. That's a fact, bro. Steven D4, we've given Geno everything for him to succeed. Former head coach, Genty, better O-line, wide receivers, elite tight end. He had far less in Seattle. But see, this is the thing. Did he really? Right? Like Geno Smith, the cupboards were not bare in Seattle, bro. I don't want anybody to sit up there and act like in Jigba and freaking, DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett were bums. These guys weren't bums. He had a decent running game there. The line wasn't great. But, do I think that Geno has something? Like, and see, that's the thing. Hugdies is right. The one thing that Seattle had was a deficiency at the offensive line. But for the most part, you had a pretty damn, like as far as, offensively, he had some weapons there. It wasn't like the cupboards were completely bare, bro. But, let's see how it works out, man. So, guys, let's get into this, man. Let's freaking get into this, man. So we talked about Genty. We talked about the players that, we parted ways with. We talked about Mr. Besh signing. We talked about all of our rookies signing. I mean, bro, we got, let me tell you something. There's a couple of guys that I'm looking at and I'm wondering, how they're going to do on this football team, right? And one of the main ones is Darien Porter, man. Like, Darien Porter is big for the Raiders this year. We need for this kid to develop, right? Because, as it stands, right, we got a lot of question marks in that secondary as far as when it comes to corner, man. And Darien Porter is a guy that I think can get on the field, even though he didn't play a whole lot at corner in college and starting. I think it's a guy that's going to get on the field, and I think he's going to be a damn good pro. based off of the advantage that he has that a lot of people in the league doesn't have. This guy used to be a wide receiver, man. He is one of the most athletic guys in the entire draft, man. Like based off of, RAS scores, he was one of the top guys in his draft, man, as far as from an athletic standpoint. And, I think what Pete Carroll sees with this guy is a Richard Sherman 2.0, right? Richard Sherman 2.0, man. He's a big corner, 6'4", ran a 4.3 40-yard dash, extremely long arms. It's going to help him when defending passes and jumping up and knocking passes out of the air. But he has an advantage that a lot of people don't have, man. Him playing wide receiver and kind of running the route with the guy is something that he's going to take advantage of, and I think it's going to serve him well at the NFL level, man. I really, really do. I think that this was a Pete Carroll pick, 100%. And I love the collaborative effort that the front office is rolling down with us, man. My guy Raider Profit with the $5 smackaroonie. The future looks most optimistic. Should try the young squad to make the postseason. We'll have close to $100 million in cap space in 2026. Just take care of Colton Miller now. I mean, bro, I'm going to be honest with you, man. And I don't mean to jump around too much, but the Colton Miller situation is something that is it's a little weird, right? It's a little weird, right? Because when you look at a Colton Miller, he is a guy that has been a top 12 guy at his position. It's getting a little longer in the tooth, and I understand it, right? But the one thing that I look at is, do you have the heir apparent on the roster, right? Like the one thing that the Raiders have done in the past, and I never could understand, is that they would move on from players without having the replacement on the roster. That was part of the problem why people were so mad about Derek Carr, right? I'm hoping that if they do move on from Colton Miller, right, that they see something in Charles Grant first, or they see somebody in his roster that they can wheel out there and that could be the next guy. I don't want them to get rid of Colton Miller just for the sake of getting rid of Colton Miller. I'm going to be honest with you, man. Y'all, you said you kick a fat kid at Walmart for 10 wins. What the F is wrong with you, Hug D's? Colton and Jacoby contract extensions are a slippery slope. I'm going to be real with you. I think the way that the Raiders address the draft room, the wide receiver room in this draft, I don't think Jacoby Myers is going to be back next year. I would love it because the guy's been having some phenomenal years. He is really cementing himself as one of the best receivers in this league, man. He really is, man. I really want to see exactly, how that pans out this year. If he could still stay at the level he was at with a Geno Smith throwing him the ball. Shout out to my guy, UA Mel. When was the last time we had an all-pro middle linebacker, man? It has been a month of Sundays, bro. It has been ages, man. What we think, like, I don't know if Kurt Morrison was ever an all-pro, right? Was Greg Beaker an all-pro? Was Greg Beaker an all-pro? Rob Martin? Man, I gotta look this up. That's one that I normally, stuff like that just comes right off the top of the head, man. Who's been an all-pro, man, for us? When's the last time we had an all-pro? Kurt Morrison was damn good, man. I don't know if he was an all-pro. And then Kurt Morrison, how much did he play the mic? You know what I mean? You got guys like Dan Connors, but you're going back to the Madden days, right? So the Mad Stork, but Phil Villapiano. Villapiano wasn't a mic. I think, man, we got to go back to like Matt Millan. Got to go all the way back to Matt Millan. I'm sure Matt Millan was an all-pro at some time, right? Nicholas Morrow was a damn good linebacker, but I'm talking about an all-pro. I think it's got to be Matt Millan, right? Yo, shout out to my guy LB Maximus. I mean, Greg Beaker was a good linebacker, but he wasn't an all-pro. Bruce Irvin wasn't a middle linebacker. And Pat Swilling was an outside linebacker. Romo, I don't think these guys were all pros, man. And I know Romo. If Romo was an all pro, I don't think it was with us. Like Romo was really good with us, but Romo was at his best when he was with the 49ers and the Denver Broncos. Yeah, but making a Pro Bowl and being an all-pro are two different things, bro. And Navarre Bowman wasn't an all-pro with us. He was an all-pro linebacker with the 49ers, bro. Yo, LV Maximus. LV. Rolando McClain definitely wasn't an all-pro. Let me LV Maximus would know. Shout out to my guy LV. LV, when's the last the last middle linebacker that made all pro? LV, it's got to be Matt Millan, right? It's got to be Matt Millan. I don't think Romo was an all pro with us. I'm talking about all pro, not Pro Bowl, all pro. Denzel Perryman wasn't an all-pro with us, bro. Khalil Mack's not a middle linebacker. Pat Swilling's not a middle linebacker, guys. Pat Swilling was a pass rusher, bro. It got to be Kirk Morrison, right? Was Kirk Morrison an all-pro? It's got to be. This guy said Jerry Ball. Jerry Ball was a defensive tackle, man. Get the F up out of here. Yeah. Let me check. Let me check how Romo did. Let me see if Romo ever was an all-pro. I'm gonna check this out. So he won Super Bowl titles with the Niners and the Broncos. He twice received Pro Bowl honors during his Bronco tenure. 4-time Super Bowl Rookie of the Year, second team All-American, first team. Now, Romo was never an All-Pro. Bill Romanowski was never an All-Pro. So you could take Romo off of that list. Now let's go back to Matt Millan. I know Matt Millan had to have been an all-pro at one time, man. 4-time Super Bowl champion, first team All-East. All right, hold on, guys. Let me check this out. Super Bowl win. I mean, he won a Super Bowl with us, the Skins, the Niners. Yeah, I don't see any all-pro. I see Pro Bowl 1988. I guess all-pro was first team All-American in 78, second team All-East. Now that's when he was in college, though. That's when he was in college. So yeah, nah, man. No all-pro. No all-pro for Matt Millan, man. Yeah, and the thing with Ted Hendricks, the Matt Stork wasn't an inside linebacker, and that's the thing, right? Hug these. This is effed up. But Google just confirmed Ted Hendricks was our last all-pro middle linebacker. It's 75-77. But the thing is, was the Matt Stork? I don't remember. Like I wasn't watching football when Ted Hendricks was still in the league. I don't even know. You know, I probably was a little bitty kid when Ted Hendricks left the league, right? I was a little kid in 77, right? But the thing is this: was Ted Hendricks a middle linebacker? Some of the older guys here, you guys got to let me know, man. I always thought Ted Hendricks was an outside back. I didn't know he was a middle linebacker, bro. Bro, I'm telling you, yo, Denzel Perryman was not an old pro with us, bro. Rod Martin in 1984 was an all-pro. Hey, one of y'all got to get me straight here, man. Yo, my guy Hug D's. This is effed up, but Google just confirmed this. So let me go right here. Yo, my guy, old school, 1961. Millan was a pro bowler. Dan Connors was all AFL, but we've never had an all-pro middle linebacker. I don't think so. So my thing is this, bro. It'd be a pretty goddamn good time for us to get one now, right? My man said Ray, high-stakes all-star. Look, the last all-pro linebacker we had was Tanner High-Stakes Muse. Hey, LB, so it was Phil Villapiano? Yeah, man. That's a long time ago, man. That's a long effing time ago, man. Rick L, you said it was Rod Martin. I know Rod Martin was like MVP of the Super Bowl. So, yo, look, man, we're due. So if you look at what the Raiders are trying to do, right? I'm going to be real with you. I love that Pete Carroll is starting to lean on that linebacker group. I love it, bro. Like, look, the one thing that I've been begging for years is for the Raiders to address the linebacker room in a real way. Now, see, this is the thing for me, though. Devin White and Jaylon Smith are guys that were good a couple of years ago, like a Lex Bubble. Now, I think Devin White is the one who probably has the, to me, the most tread left on the tire to kind of make an impact on his roster. With Smith, look, Smith is one of them guys, man. He is a guy that is one of the biggest what ifs I've ever seen, right? I think he would have been a perennial all-pro had he not gotten hurt, right? He took some time off. I don't know exactly how healthy he is, but you got to ask yourself, right? Are you going to keep a guy like Jaylon Smith around? Him being as injury prone as he's been, him being 29 years old, are you keeping him around? I mean, because you already know that you got a couple of guys who are written in stone, right? I think Tommy Eichenberg is written in stone. I think Elandon Roberts is definitely written in stone, right? And I think Devin White is written in stone. My three starting linebackers in the base 4-3 are Devin White, Elandon Roberts, and Tommy Eichenberg. Those are my three, right? And then I'm keeping Amari Gainer too on the roster. Yeah, I'm trying to look. I got the Knicks game on in the corner. I'm trying not to pay attention. I'm gonna start paying attention right after we get off the air. We're gonna get off pretty soon, and you know I'm gonna pray my Knicks can get that win, man. It's just I got a sinking feeling about this, man. I got a sinking feeling about this, man. The Knicks got to get this dub, man. If they don't, it's over. See, Jason Marshall, I don't think we're throwing shit against the wall, man. I think what the Raiders are doing is they're coming in and they're bringing in guys that have played well in this league, and they're trying to develop the guys on the roster. I think that, you know, Elandon Roberts is addressing the linebacker room. I think that he is more physically talented than the Roberts Spillane. I think he's young. I think that he's physical. I think Elandon Roberts was addressing the linebacker room. I don't think you have to go out there and spin big to address the linebacker room. You just got to have the right guys and the right mix, right? You have a guy like a Devin White who has been a terrific player, right? If you put him in the right scenario. And I think we have some of the guys in the building who know how to utilize him. I don't believe that we didn't address the linebacker room. You know, I'm very happy about what they've done, right? I want to see what they can do with Gainer, what they can do with Eichenberg, what they can do with Elandon Roberts. And I love having some vets just in case the development doesn't go quite what they think, so that the floor doesn't fall out of that positional group. Winston, so you were thinking the Knicks are gonna go Knicks? You look a little worried. Yeah, bro. Yeah, I am a little worried. I am. Look, we're playing the world champions, right? We're playing the world champions. I'm a realistic fan, bro. We playing the world champs, bro. It's gonna be rough, man. Like if the Celtics are hitting threes the way they did on Saturday, man, they're very, very hard to stop. But Ray Lusso, yes, they cut Amari Burney. Yes, they did. Shout out to everybody in the chat, man. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Yeah, but if Elandon Roberts goes down with F, but not really, bro. I mean, look, you have a lot of young guys in the building, guys like Amari Gainer. Yo, that's what this is about. This is about competition, everybody. That's what this is about. Yeah, it's 51-44 Boston. Yo, the game's close. We're good. But guys, get some questions in. Let's get the conversation going. We're about to roll the train back into the train station, y'all. Yeah, I would too. But you see, the thing about Senzo, about Amari Gainer, bro, he got to earn that playing time, bro. Tommy Eichenberg, Amari Gainer, they got to earn that playing time. They got to earn it. Like, I'm kind of glad that they did what they did. They didn't pay a Robert Spillane, and they're going to allow Tommy Eichenberg to come in there and earn that job. I think Tommy Eichenberg is the X factor this offseason. Big time, man. My guy, Giovani B, got a nice mix of young, promising linebackers, veterans, high-risk, low-reward vets like Devin White. The cream will rise to the top. Pause if necessary. Oh, my God. You are filthy, man. What the F is wrong with you?
Angry man. What you doing here? Man, set your ass down.
God, Giovanni B. The filth. It's a family show, Giovanni. Shout out to my guy, Giovanni B, man. Appreciate you, my dog. The cream. Now, he said pause. He said pause. He don't get sat down, man. But that's a dope comment, bro. My guy, Hug D's. Question. Why don't you dye your whisker biscuit wrapped around your face? Because, bro, I earned all these gray hairs, bro. I earned every single one of them, bro. I'm proud that I'm still alive, bro. I'm glad I'm still here, man. It's a blessing to be gray, bro. It's a blessing to be gray. It's a blessing, the wisdom that comes with this. You know, a lot of guys, they don't understand, bro. I embrace this shit, bro. I almost wasn't here when I was young, bro. How many times that my life has been in danger? Man, health issues, all kinds of shit, bro. Telling you right now, man. I love it, man. I love it. I'm proud of it. I'm proud that I'm an OG now. You know what I'm saying? I'm proud that I made it. I'm proud of my family. I'm proud of what I've made in my life, bro. So I don't hide, bro. I'm not trying to be no young boy, man. Jaylon Smith might be stealing some jobs. See, Ray Jackson, I don't know, bro. Like, with Smith, he has such a devastating injury. It has followed him throughout his career. He is older. He's almost 30 years old. I don't know about that, bro. I don't know about that. I think the thing that Jaylon Smith brings into the organization is a certain mentality that I think that Pete Carroll and John Spytek would like to rub off on these younger guys. So, look, I hope that Smith can get back to the player he was in Dallas. I don't know if that's possible at this point, but if he can, man, we got us a steal. He said, in other words, he's 73 years old. Man, Grab, get the F up out of here. Grab, I told you, man, you look like a goddamn vampire. Nosferatu. Grab is 935 years old. Yeah, man, but look. Wasted, who gets more yards, Bowers or Genty? I would probably say Genty. I have the basement of Genty based off of what we've done on his offensive line, based off of how many carries he's going to get in the Chip Kelly offense. Like Chip Kelly, if he does nothing else, he runs the football. I think Genty, the basement is 1,400 yards. I think the basement is 1,400 yards. And I think the fact that he gets the lion's share of the carries this year, I just think it just lines up for him, you know, probably setting a Raiders rookie rushing record. Look, Josh Jacobs set that record. It was like 1,100 yards. I see Genty getting past that. I really do. I have high hopes for Genty from what I'm hearing out of the building. You know, he is everything that was advertised. You know, he is looking like 2 years in a row the Raiders have addressed, you know, a major position of need in a real way. I love the fact that now, because, you know, look, a couple years ago, I was talking about the fact that, we haven't drafted them young guys that could be the next Raider legends. Where are all the young legends coming from? Bruh, hopefully these dudes turn into Raider legends and spend their career with us, man. Waste it. You should see me dance to your outro music. I don't think I want to see that. It's frightening. DeMarcus Webb. I'm just a little worried about the Raiders linebackers and pass coverage. Hopefully Pete can correct Patrick Graham's constant opening the passing lanes in the middle of the field. That issue was killing me. Yeah, man. I mean, look, the great thing about having a mind like Carroll in the building is that with Antonio Pierce there, and I'm not saying Antonio Pierce didn't know the game, right? But Antonio Pierce knew the game from the player's perspective. Having a master like Pete Carroll in the building, I think that having a guy like that coming in and seeing what's going on, he can correct schematically the holes in your scheme in real time. I think you will have a dramatically better group from that linebacker room. And I think that is a part of the parcel of the reason why they've changed that group so much. They've brought so many people in. I think that's part and parcel to the reason why the Raiders are in a situation now where, you know, they have that mixture of veterans and young guys. I think Pete Carroll and this group are pretty much elevating the young guys we have in the building to really take that next step. Like, you know, do we have that next Bobby Wagner in the building? That'd be great if we did, right? It'd be great if we did, man. Eddie said, wasted looking like Eddie Murphy and Shrek. That's crazy, bro. Hug these. That is crazy, bro. Yo, hug these. I'm gonna tag everybody on Instagram and on Twitter and tell them who you look like. Definitely. You look like Hornswoggle. Get F up out of here, hug these. My guy Demokes. AOC gonna go dummy like the gills with the gummies. Get the F up out of here with your crap. You know what's funny? We're not going to get into it right now, Hug. We're not going to get into it right now, man. What's my thoughts on the cornerback room? I mean, look. I think that the corner room is going to make or break this team. You know, I think Cameron Richardson is a lot better than people think. I think he's going to thrive in Carroll's system. Jacorian Bennett is a question mark. And when Jacorian Bennett is healthy and he's on the field, yeah, I like Jacorian Bennett. He has a very, very bright future, right? But Jacorian Bennett really has not played a whole hell of a lot, man. He's not played a whole hell of a lot. He's been hurt a lot, man. You know, and that is the biggest thing with Jacorian Bennett. That's the biggest thing. Can he stay healthy? Can he stay on the field? That's the biggest part. I mean, when he's on the field, he's balling, right? When he's on the field, he is balling, bro. But if you look at it, man, you know, the guy, man, the guy really, you know, he's been hurt, man. He has been hurt. Not gonna lie, man. You know, he played 14 games in 2023, and he only played 10 games last year. You know, 10 games, that's big, man. He missed 7 games last year. So that's the most important part of Jacorian Bennett, man. If he's on the field, can he make that step forward? Can he start, picking the football off? So it's a make or break year for Jacorian Bennett, man. It's a make or break year. Oh, nah, look, no. Oh, hug these. Oh, I'm definitely gonna roast you. I just don't want to, I don't want to derail the show, roasting you and turning this into a joke. We're talking some real deal football right here. Yo, my guy Giovani B, man. As a positive, we all feel about our draft class. Realistically, every pick won't hit. So who do you think is most likely to be a bust in this rated draft class? Bro, I'm gonna be real with you. I don't think where they drafted these guys, that any of these guys are gonna have big bust potential, right? Because I think a lot of these guys are here to fulfill a specific role. To me, like guys like Tommy Millott, you know what I'm saying? JJ Pegues, all these guys are guys that are gonna role play. These are guys that, I'm not looking for these guys to come in here and tear the world up. I would love if they did, right? But I think these guys can get some meaningful snaps. I really don't see any bust in this draft. I mean, maybe the corner. Maybe the corner. But for the rest of these guys, I think these guys are all going to come in and fulfill a role for this team. I think this was a well thought out draft strategy. This is a well put together team. And it's not like we're leaning on any of these guys besides Genty. Y'all talk so much about Rob Leonard. Can he earn his check with Tyree Wilson? I mean, look, bro, Rob Leonard has done a terrific job with everyone else. And just because, Tyree Wilson hasn't rounded into what we think he could be because he was overdrafted doesn't mean that that's some indictment on Rob Leonard, Like maybe Tyree Wilson doesn't have it. I mean, bro, at the end of the day, if Tyree Wilson was taken at 15 or something like that, no one would be all over him. The fact that we passed on Jalen Carter is the problem, bro. That's the biggest problem. My guy CGR, thanks for the content wasted. Yo, appreciate you for supporting the channel and pulling up, bro. And Raider Felon, I agree. Only a first rounder can be a bust. Nah, no. I kind of think you got to put some context to that when you talk about second rounders, third rounders, guys like that, right? Because of the fact of who was drafted behind them. You know what I'm saying? Like, all right, I'll give you an example. Jihad Ward. Jihad Ward was taken. Everybody said, man, this guy, because Derrick Henry was taken after him. Like, so I think that has a lot to do with it. And I think that is kind of how you judge a lot of times in these drafts, right? You can't out Tyree's athleticism on Rob Leonard. Dude has a slow get off his entire career. Hey, bang zoom, hug these. Bang zoom. I still have faith in Tyree. He's too much of a specimen. I mean, listen, bro, there's always guys in this league who look like Tarzan and play like Jane. There's always guys in this league. Man, bro, I remember it was a guy out of Ohio State that got drafted by the Jets. Vernon Golston is a guy that everybody just thought was going to be that dude, and he never, ever rounded out. Yeah, no, and Graphic Raider is 100% right. Dudes that were supposed to be first rounders that drop can also be bust. Yes, 100%, bro. 100%. Bust might not be. No, Giovani B, you said what you meant. That's what's up. No, I get it, bro. You know what I'm saying? Look. What I feel is, and I guess maybe this is recency bias, but I feel like they picked the perfect players for what they're trying to do to fulfill the specific role. I think a lot of the guys that these guys drafted are going to be a lot better than what we think. Can Shedeur still be a bust? No. I think the best thing that, and I don't really want to talk about Shedeur Sanders because he's not on the Raiders, right? But I think the best thing that ever happened to him is what happened, because he has very, very little. He has no pressure, because if he doesn't play well, then everybody's gonna see that's why he got drafted as low as this. See, I told you so. Get this kid the F up out of here. But if he plays well, it's going to be a whole lot of people with egg on their face. I think the ball's in his court, to be real with you. When Tyree was drafted, it's on the guy that drafted him, not the player or the coach. Some GMs are better than others. Simple as F. Yeah, that is 100% factual, bro. I look at Tyree Wilson and it harkens me back to, Cleveland Farrell. It's not Cleve's fault where he was drafted, man. And God bless him. He's a hell of a young man and a hell of a football player. He was just overdrafted, bro. You can't blame Tyree Wilson for being overdrafted. My guy rated Pace with the $10 smackaroonie. The secondary frightens me. You think the team will add somebody significant after June 1st, like Jai Alexander or Ramsey? Jai Alexander and Ramsey cost a lot, bro. And at this point in their careers, what is significant, right? What does that mean? I think the Raiders really need to run with the guys they have. I do. I think this is development year, and if we don't have the horses in the race, then now you know where to swing in free agency next year. I'm gonna be real with you. Then you know. I'm excited to see what Brady saw in Cam Miller. We saw his college tape. Maybe it's his work ethic, ability to succeed. Dude did big things at North Dakota State University. Yeah, he did. I mean, look, man, Brady. Look, this Tom Brady. I don't want to doubt the guy. I've never seen him be an executive or a talent evaluator. The one thing I like about Miller, bro, I like his moxie. I like his throwing motion. I like the way the ball jumps off of his hand, right? And I love the fact that he's a low risk, high ceiling guy, right? Either which way, right? Every time you draft somebody, man, does not mean that they're going to turn into being a future starter. If he's just a serviceable backup, I think the Raiders won, right? I think the Raiders won. We took Tyree instead of Carter because we were being scary. Yeah, and I think a lot of that has to do with you have some GMs who are in it to win it. They're willing to take the risk necessary to push the team forward. Right? I see Spytek having the gravitas and the stones to make a move like a Jalen Carter, right? Then you have GMs that are like Tom Telesco that will draft well enough to keep their job for 5 or 6 years, but it'll never put you in a position to win a Super Bowl. And then you have ones who swing big and they do what needs to be done and they don't worry about getting fired because they're trying to win, bro. I think that patty cake kind of GMing is the way to get you. It is just good enough to get you beat. Making the playoffs. Okay, we made the playoffs, so I get to keep my job. To me, that's not enough, man. And UA Mel, look, I was saying that the whole time. They say you don't pass on Jalen Carter, Henry Ruggs be damned. But see, this is the thing, right? I don't necessarily know whether Jalen Carter would be as successful here. It's people, places, and things. A lot of times we see these guys come into the league and they go to the perfect position for them. They go to the perfect place, the perfect coach, the perfect scenario for them. The thing with Jalen Carter and what he needed at that time in his life is to be around people that are familiar. He needed to be around love, and he needed to be around a situation where they are used to cultivating and curating terrific defensive lines, man. And by Jalen Carter going and playing with so many of his college teammates, man, him being surrounded by those guys, that's the best case. Even in a big city like Philly, that's the best case scenario for him, man. It really was, man. It was nothing but right. And it was the kind of thing where it was God's will, right? Like a lot of times, a lot of these guys that wind up Hall of Famers is because they went to the right freaking spot. Look at a guy like Emmitt Smith. Would Emmitt Smith have been Emmitt Smith outside of Dallas? Probably not. Probably not. Would Ray Lewis be Ray Lewis if he wasn't drafted by the Ravens and they didn't make the kind of commitment to build around the kind of player he was? Probably not. I'm telling you right now, man. I just hope the next time that kind of a scenario pops up, we don't miss out. I hope that next year we're not regretting not taking Shedeur Sanders. I hope not. But if I'm being honest, right? Even if they didn't, they got Ashton Jeanty. And one day, hopefully he'll be in the pantheon of the great backs in his league. But I think the Raiders did it right this year. I'm not going to come on here and poo-poo and trash anything they did this offseason because, man, I think this was a masterful offseason so far. I can't wait to see some of these guys in camp. We're going to talk about that, you know, probably the next show. You know, this show was more of a freewheeling show, talking about the news and stuff. But we're going to get into the camp battles. Where, you know, when the schedule drops, Graf and I are going to do a show together. And guys, we're just trying to stay active, give you your fix of Raider football news throughout this offseason. We're always here for you, man. No matter what people say. No matter what people say, man. I'm going to tell you guys a little something about this content game, right? There are a lot of people who watch what I do. They watch what Graf does, right? They watch what a lot of guys do in this game. And they want to be, they want to do some of the same things, right? Right? They want to have a chat like this. You guys make all of this go. And I want you to know that, right? You guys make all of this go. You really do. I really appreciate you guys, right? And I want you guys to know that you guys are the best audience in Raider YouTube, hands down, bro. Hands down. But what I would tell you is this, right? And this has nothing to do with Raider content. This is just in life. Best thing you can do is keep your head down, work hard, and mind your own business. If you do that, you'll be surprised the great things you can accomplish in this life, man. And that is a wasted word of wisdom. We got to get back to wasted words of wisdom, man. But I'm gonna tell y'all something, man. That's how you win, man. You mind your business, you keep your head down, you work hard, and you respect the people around you. You'll never have a problem, man. You guys have a terrific night. I'm gonna go watch my Knicks. Hopefully they can pull this one out. Pigskin 76. Shout out to you. Appreciate you for pulling up, keeping that Twitter audience down, man. Love y'all, man. Y'all have a terrific night. And yo, we're gonna get out there, we're gonna get it rolling. Not subscribe, he goes, but give yourself credit for making the videos and making it. Oh yeah, nah, definitely, man. Look, you guys know, man, I am my biggest cheerleader, right? When they ask me who my favorite content creator, I say wasted talent. Well, guys, look, man, it has a lot to do with all of y'all, man. I appreciate you guys, man. Look, we're gonna get out of here, man. You guys have a terrific night. We're gonna be back out to tomorrow. We're not leaving you guys without content, man. I know this is a rough time of the off season, and this is when we turn up the heat. When there's nothing to talk about specifically, that's when we turn up the heat. When there's something to talk about, we keep going even harder, man. You guys have a great and powerful night. I will see you guys tomorrow, man. And wait a minute. Hold on.
Yesterday's price is not today's price.
Damn right. The price is going up every day. Pete Carroll and John Spytek and Tom Brady have been in the building. You guys have a freaking terrific night, man. Peace.